Do you pronounce your last name, Diddy? Take yourself off mute.
It's Asianoa.
Byron. You can begin.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Byron K. Ward, and I'm the founder, president, and CEO of CCMERA, which stands for Central Coast Minority Enterprise Resource Affiliates. So glad to be able to welcome you to our Building Clean Green Community Bridges event this evening. We're in for a real treat. We have what I call a young person. I like to get young people engaged in our work. And I'll leave the introduction up to our host, Dr. Daryl Gooden. But I want to welcome everyone to our presentation of Building Clean Green Community Bridges. And our welcome guest is from GNC Technologies Incorporated. Everyone, I introduce you to Dr. Daryl B. Gooden.
Oh, thank you, Byron, and happy to have everyone with us this last installment for this season of the uh, going clean, growing green, building green, being green, uh, clean, green community bridges. A lot to say there, but basically, we have been engaged for the last 5 months in an effort to educate, inform, and engage the community, uh, primarily in Ventura County, but eventually we'll extend this efforts into the Santa Barbara and San Luis Obispo County, which are the tri-county areas for which CCMERA is focused on. And I'm happy to be hosting today Ndidi, who is a person who has been engaged for over 20 years in the green space right here in Ventura County. And with no further ado, I'm going to let Ndidi tell you a little bit more about himself. I'm going to go ahead, Ndidi, and put up your slides, and we can go right at it once the slide is up. Can you see the slide?
I can.
Okay. All right. Well, why don't you tell us, Ndidi, a little bit about uh, how you guys, I'll ask you this question and then turn it over to you to get your presentation going.
Okay.
But you and I believe your dad started the business. Can you tell us a little bit how it started and what was the impetus to get it going? And say a little bit about that, and then we'll go right into your presentation.
Okay. Well, first of all, happy to be here. Thank you for having me. So the story about how GNC started is quite an adventure, but I'd say the short version is we started around late 1999, early 2000. We actually my boss, who is also my father, he was a part of another company that was establishing a footprint in Ventura County. And like I said, that was around 1999. And the company had a change of plans. And uh, basically, he made a decision to uh, stay here. So he made some agreements with his previous company to be able to establish his own foothold here. And that's pretty much how the business started. It, so so uh, but I mean, there's obviously more details that go into what we currently do, but that's initially how it started. It started on a risk and a chance, basically. So,
And so it began, and here you are 20 some years later and quite still engaged. So
right.
uh, why don't you go ahead and begin with your overview, and we'll take it from there after you given us the overview of what GNC Electronics Recycling does.
Okay, sounds good. So basically, yes, the name of our company is GNC Electronics Recycling. And what we do, as the first slide shows, is we're involved with asset management, e-waste solutions, and protecting the environment, also protecting data. So that would be HIPAA compliant services, et cetera. There's more into that. As we go through the slides, we'll be able to go into more detail exactly what those things comprise.
And I'll oh, there we go.
Okay. All right, perfect. So we've been in the Camarillo location for about approaching about 25 years now. What we do is we're the primary location for e-waste recycling. So that would be the type of material that you would kind of have in your home. So it'd be TVs, VCRs, remote controls, items that most people have sitting that they kind of disregard and don't know exactly where they should go. We're the main location within the Camarillo area that facilitates this process. Also, we serve outside of Ventura County, we serve Santa Barbara County, Los Angeles County, and we also are involved in the refurbishing, recycling processes, and basically sustainable ecosystem. So yeah, that's primarily what we do.
when you let me well, on this slide, you in your mission, you said you built a robust recycling infrastructure that
Right.
supports a sustainable ecosystem of product use,
Mhm.
planned end of life disposal. So, planned end of life disposal. Are there any particular things you focus on with these planned end of life disposals? Are you talking about computers, TVs, all of the above, or just about anything?
So
Like,
when we're talking, I'm sorry.
no, go ahead.
So when we're talking about planned end of life, we're mostly talking about businesses, corporations. Unfortunately, a lot of people do have hard equipment, like neighborhoods, and let's say like a television. They don't plan for it to not be functional, but it
Mhm.
happens to occur that way. But maybe the companies they plan for the obsolescence. I'm not sure. However, when we talk about planned end of life disposal, we're talking about specifically for corporations, businesses, and entities of that nature.
And you're dealing with the businesses like that. But I think you mentioned to me in one of our earlier conversations, in addition to companies, corporations, and businesses, so you do a business to business kind of engagement. You,
Mhm.
you explained to me that you also will take from consumers things that are obsolete, and how do they bring them to your warehouse? Do they call you? You go and pick them up. How does that work?
Actually, all three of those things. So, people can come by our facility Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. It's a pretty much a white glove service.
Hmm.
We bring the items by, and we collect them. Some items we do have a recycling fee for. Most items we do subsidize the cost. So primarily, I mean, just on a regular day, we may get 10 to 15 people, maybe 20 that come by. They drop off their televisions, VCRs, like I mentioned, remote controls. Uh, and we have relationships with other recycling channels too. So if there's something that we might not be able to take, we do
Mhm.
know where to direct them so that they can uh, take care of the what they intended on taking care of was, which is removing their hardware that they can't use any longer.
Cool, very cool.
Yeah.
All right, I'll go to the next slide. Okay.
All right. So one of the portions of what we do is IT asset recovery. And that was kind of going along the lines of what we talked about, the end of life services that we provide for hardware. And what that basically is as stated here. So let's say, for example, if a company has equipment that they render useless or they assume is worthless or useless, we provide basically an analysis, an assessment, and let them know what we might be able to generate from their from their material. And then from there, we do our own assessment. And if we can refurbish it, we can provide a secondary market placement with a revenue share. So a real world example like we have here is, let's say, for example, a company has 50 laptops that they assume don't have any functional use any longer. Through our program, we assess each piece of equipment, and then we find out that a certain amount does have a useful life, and then from there, we're able to project how much we could actually present to them income wise, and then or they could just actually upcycle it back into their business. So yeah,
Now,
that's
and you in that brief, so if I understand you correctly, you'll do an assessment, but do
mm.
you also affect repairs? If in fact you find a unit is usable with some minor repair, so you have a refurbishment services uh, in relationship to this. Is that right?
Oh, we do. So initially, before we actually started GNC Electronics Recycling, we actually were a refurbisher. So we had computer stores. We had a few computer stores throughout Southern California. So our primary business was the refurbishment of computers, laptops, game systems, and things of that nature. So
Mhm.
if that is something that a customer was looking for from us, we could provide that service.
Okay.
Yeah.
And in your talk a little bit more about the revenue recovery. It seems like you not only do you get paid for your services there, but you in fact when you say you will help the client recover $15,000 in value while extending the equipment life.
Hmm.
So in that scenario, in this real world scenario you highlighted here,
Hmm.
your GNC will make money, but the company that called you to engage you will also find an additional benefits. That's what it sounds like to me, I think.
Right, if that's their goal. And this scenario is, I mean, it is a bit dramatic because I don't believe, depending on the hardware, based on
Mhm.
my experience, I don't know if that much would actually come from that many laptops. So
Mhm.
that's just an example of how
Potential.
the
Okay.
system will work, though.
All right. Yeah, yeah, no, I mean, laptops, these days I found out the hard way that like places like the Goodwill, help of, Oxnard or whatever the nonprofit is that will take and recycle and then resell
Mhm.
things to the public again. They don't really take laptops anymore. They don't take computers. I was surprised. I mean,
Hmm.
they'll take a TV, but they won't take a computer. I thought that was strange. But anyway, so yeah, I imagine you have a good amount of business with the IT as it relates to computers and printers. So would you say most of what you get for the IT asset recovery are in fact laptops, or is it a combination of laptops, printers, and whatever else?
Oh man. Be laptops, printers, servers, routers,
Servers, routers,
switches.
the whole shebang.
Yeah, it's quite a large variety of items.
Okay,
Hmm.
okay. Oh, I went back the other way. Let me go this way. There you go. Data safety. Tell us about your data safety and destruction.
Okay, so obviously this is one of the most important aspects of our business because it's involving people's information. So, and businesses information.
Hmm.
So what we do is we provide, if requested, um, us a channel to ensure that once their equipment comes to our facility, that the information on there is either completely removed, which we have a DoD system. It's like a multi-white data removal system. In addition, if they wanted to have more confidence that we could provide the service, we also provide data, our hard drive destruction. So we actually destroy the drives. And in addition to that, um, say for example, if there's a scenario where there needs to be HIPAA compliance, we can also provide certificates of destruction. And on top of that, if they need serialized information, so we can provide serialized information that will let each or the customers know in basically a document stating that this particular hard drive was formatted on this way on this day, so that they can use that for auditing purposes, because sometimes there are auditors and scenarios where if you're dealing with things such as medical history or uh, we have
Security.
relationships with military, so there's a lot of situations where uh, that is of the utmost importance, and we do our due diligence. I'm sorry, to make
Hmm.
sure that we provide that confidence for our customers. So yeah.
Excellent. And when so when handling these items that you're ensuring data safety to, I imagine there are certain regulatory requirements like handling private information. Uh, are you under any HIPAA or any other kind of guidance to adhere to? Do you have to report on any of that, or is it mainly to the customer?
Well, we make sure that the customer is satisfied with the service that we provide. I know that with some of the customers that we work with, they report a lot of their information to the people that they have to answer to.
Hmm.
So, and we have to have a lot of conversations to make sure that we're all on the same page. So, fortunately, we've been doing what we've been doing and providing services for the community and the larger business area for a long time. So, we're actually pretty happy, and I think our customers are happy with the service that we're providing as well.
I'm sure they are. And you mentioned the DoD here. I worked for 30 years with the government, retired as a civil servant, and I know how serious they look at protecting personal information. How much do you engage with the DoD? Is that a regular customer of yours?
No, it's not, but maybe someday in the near future. But
Oh
yeah,
yeah, no, they have a real. I mean, they produce a lot of data. They have a lot of good contacts there. So we
right.
have to pull that string a little bit later. In terms of the once you've gone through and destroyed, so you could, is it either digitally wipe the units or do you physically destroy stuff too?
Both.
Both. Okay.
Yes,
All right.
sir.
Very cool. All right. And on facilities move out.
Okay, so this is another aspect of our business. We provide facility move outs. And basically what that is let's say, for example, a company is prepared to move maybe to a larger location or they're downsizing. We provide basically a channel to help them not so they don't have to focus on the things that they don't need to focus on. We kind of consider that a white glove service where we come to the facility, we do the dismantling, we collect all the material for them. Uh, we basically there's cabling or wiring. We make sure that all that's taken care of. We take down their server racks, um, their computer systems, laptops, monitors. Basically, we just make it as presentable as possible, so that once their lease is up or expired, they don't have to worry about that part. So one of and included in that, if they chose to, we could also provide the secure data wiping. We try to help out with project management so they can basically, like I said previously, focus on what they need to focus on. And then we can also make sure that if they needed to actually deal with asset disposition, so if they need to generate income from some of that material, we can also have a conversation and establish a means to do that as well.
It seems like a lot of work. I mean, I know in this day and age, especially, I can think of two companies I know of that are probably, if not moving, might actually be shutting their doors for the first time after 30 years. And so I could perhaps turn them on to you if you, how much in advance notice would you need to know? Let's say someone decides right now that they're going to close their doors in December. Do you have like a 20, 30-day notification before you say here they're
Right.
going to close their office in 48 hours? Can you guys act in that quick amount of time, 2 days? Or how much lead time do you need before you go to help a company facilitate their move out?
Right. So obviously that depends on their location, but definitely we tell a lot of our customers 24 to 48 hours for us to be able to help them out with their uh
Really?
yeah. So it just depends on what it is. Like we've had very large clients where it was services that we had to provide over a period of time. And then there's some clients of ours where we could get it done in a few hours. I think we have a very solid team, and we've been doing this for such a long time. A lot of times we just tell the customers, just basically just step to the side and we'll take it. And we'll make sure that you're taken care of. So
All
yeah.
right. So, but no, so it's all the electronic equipment, nothing with furniture and cabinets and all of that stuff.
No, we do have, because of our relationships that we've had over the years being in
Hmm.
business, we do have relationships with other companies that could facilitate that portion, but our main focus is the electronic material.
Now, does some of your affiliate companies do they oftentimes call you, said, "Hey, we got a client here. We think we need to have you come and help us with them," something like that?
Sometimes it can happen that way. You know, this is definitely a relationship-based business.
Hmm.
So, well, I believe that because let's say, for example, you might have relationships with there's a lot of haulers that come to our facility. So they'll come and they'll drop off material because they don't want to take it to another place and we're on the way. And because we know these guys over the years, there's definitely channels where they might be able to add value to a situation, let's say where there is furniture or I guess hardware of that nature.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Okay, excellent. All right, let's move on. Collection bin program.
Yeah, so that's something we started probably within the last 2 years or so. Basically what it is we noticed that a lot of the customers basically they had their material, but they didn't know how to stage it correctly.
Hmm.
Staging it is really important when it comes to us being able to enter and exit their location
Right.
efficiently and effectively, because we like to make sure that they can continue doing business as quickly as possible. So what we do is we provide a solution that where we place bins. There's these large bins, kind of called gaylords. And once they're filled, they give us a call. We just do a quick swap out. We replace a new bin and they can continue doing what they're doing. So something that would normally take, well, if they were moving in a less efficient way, I'd say, something that might take an hour or so with an inefficient manner, we could complete the task in 20 minutes. So,
Okay.
and that an example that you see below is, let's say that there's a company that has a lot of e-waste, and it could be small items like phones, tablets, and keyboards. They can basically throw everything inside of the bin, and then once they're ready to call us to relieve their material, we come, we say, okay, cool. We will take the bin, we'll swap it back out, and then we'll see them on the next run.
So the bins these your bins, or do you coordinate with like companies that pick up the trash bins and recycle bins and things like that, or do you own and coordinate these bins for yourself?
Yeah, these are our bins.
Interesting. How would a company, let's say, I used to work for an engineering firm,
Mm,
and we would just stack up computers. We probably had a office, part of the office where we just had old computers and old equipment. We just let it sit
right,
there forever and a day.
right.
So how would a company, I mean, they reach out to you, just give you a call? How's that work?
Yeah, so typically the process that we found to be, well, it varies.
Hmm.
So, an example is, let's say, for example, they call us and they let us know what they have. We might actually show up to the facility, which if it's in the Ventura County area, it's close
Hmm.
enough where we could at least come and show our face.
Right.
And then once we see what they have, then we can evaluate the best approach. If we can't see it physically, we ask them to send us pictures. And based on our experience, we kind of know how to navigate. We ask a few questions. Is it on the
Hmm.
first floor, second floor? Uh, is there door access? Is there a lift gate? So there's a lot of different approaches that we have to, there's a lot of questions we need to ask so that we can make sure that we're moving in the most effective way. So once we
Yeah.
figure out, I'm sorry.
No, go ahead. Go ahead. I'm sorry. Go
Yeah,
ahead.
once we figure out that approach, it's just we do what we do. And like I said, we've been doing it for so long. Most scenarios are very similar. So we make sure that always we provide a white glove service. And pretty much once we're done, they call us again when they're ready to have us take care of their recycling services.
Okay, got a couple of questions on that. When you've said a few times you provide a white glove service.
Hmm.
My understanding of white glove service is everything is so done and finished and clean. If you could take a white glove and run your finger over it, there is nothing left to be done. Is that the deal?
I mean,
How would you describe your white glove service?
yeah, basically they don't have to touch anything. We I wouldn't say we necessarily it will be if we put a white glove on the ground, there won't be any dust because I mean
Yeah, I
that's
was
not
figuratively
realistic.
speaking. Yeah. Right, right, right.
But we make sure that the hardware is palletized, wrapped. There's nothing left that's not supposed to be there, and we do our due diligence to make sure that our customers are happy. I think personally, a part of white glove service is making sure that our customers are satisfied. And that's what we make sure to do is that make sure that our customers are happy with the service that we provide.
Mhm. And let me just explore something on this collection bin program. Since you mentioned you all have your own bins, various buildings that house companies and all kinds of operations. I noticed in the last organization I worked for, people just throw all kinds of stuff in the bin. There is no bin that's set up for just electronics. I've seen couches, TVs. I've seen everything in it. Would a owner of a building or people who manage buildings, would they be a good customer for a bin collection program of type? Have you do any marketing of this service to anybody?
So the answer, the first question is if facilities like you mentioned would be suitable. Absolutely. We have intentions of spreading our wings a little bit in the marketing space
Mm-hmm.
because but we do have relationships with many different locations, many different businesses that are facilities, buildings that do have, let's say, like apartment complexes,
Right.
um, townhome areas. Oh, we did for recently. We did a pickup for a retirement community.
Oh, excellent. Yeah.
So we did it was for maybe a few months, and we collected all their material, and I considered that a white glove service because they didn't have to touch anything. They just
Right.
dropped their material, and then we
Yeah,
left.
this seems like a really promising area because, like I said, my experience at the last place where I worked, you go to the bin to just throw out the regular trash for the week, and you have all kinds of things in this big bin, you
Right, right,
know,
right,
but there's no designation of like, here's where you put your electronic waste, which the Goodwill won't even take. So that's interesting.
right. Yeah.
Cool. Very,
Gerald, if I can chime in here,
yeah, go ahead.
in our work on this project, and we specifically try to address sustainability as a crucial part of our clean green programs. Uh, One of the reasons I was bullish about getting GNC on our program
Mm-hmm.
is because to me, they illustrate a perfect example of free enterprise and providing a service that is crucial to uh, maintaining our environment.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. You know, if they deal with it, we presume that it's not going to go into the landfill, you know. Now, I don't know for sure that, but I would assume, Diddy, that is part of your sustainability effort is to make sure you're doing things in a sustainable way, as Byron points out. I mean, are we correct in that thought?
Yeah, absolutely. We have a team of guys. We do all the dismantling, separating of materials. It's definitely a character building environment. So
Excellent. No, it's a great process. Great process. No, thank you, Byron. That's a very good point. Hey, moving on. So you have a few more additional services. Tell us
right.
about these.
Okay, so basically these additional services are just it's a little bit similar to what we were talking about earlier. Um, if there was customers who needed consulting or they wanted to figure out a system for their company, like an e-waste system, e-waste ecosystem.
Mhm.
We could have a conversation and set up some protocols and go back and forth and figure out what works for their system or their company because each place is different. Everyone's needs are different. So
Mhm.
let's say, for example, a retirement community, they may need bins that are closer to a certain area so that they can have quicker access. Or maybe another office or another warehouse might need a larger setup because of the consistency and how much material they're sending out from their facility. So it's very dynamic. It changes. Everyone's different. So everyone has to be treated with specific care. Um,
Mhm.
when it comes to logistics, obviously we have vehicles. So we have vehicles that would be included in the transportation of material from one place to another. Um, and in regards to the reports, that was what we mentioned previously with certificates of destruction, and that's a part of the asset disposition, and just environmental impact documents so they can know how much what they're doing and let them know that it actually is providing value.
Mhm.
So yeah, like we have companies that we deal with like storage facilities, and they might have a program where we actually provide them a profit share so that they can set up scholarships for children. So it just depends on the situation, the need. It's very diverse, but it keeps us on our toes.
Good. Yeah, no, I'm curious as to whether or not you're in your chain of custody tracking, are
Mhm.
there any regulatory things with that? Like, for instance, you pick up 10 laptops from a company who used to have contracts with the DoD.
Mm,
and you've assured them you will physically destroy the units, yada yada yada,
mhm,
and then you then end up taking it someplace and doing with it what you will in the
mm,
recycling world.
mm.
Um, are there regulations that govern the chain of custody tracking? I'm just curious. Or is that just a service that's nice to have?
I didn't hear that last part. You said, I'm sorry, it
I
kind of.
said, are there regulatory things you have to be mindful of in the chain of custody tracking?
So if it's requested, there probably are certain specifics that are requested from us. We'll usually be we'll have to be told what they want us to do. So say for example, we had a relationship where we dealt with the closing up of a bank and we received a lot of inventory. And so we had to do a lot of documentation. So it was a lot of serial numbers. So we had to serialize the laptop, the hard drive, the all the internal components. And so it takes time, but the goal is to do the right thing and provide the right service for our customers. So to answer
Mhm.
your question, it's dependent on the situation. So that's what I've seen.
In the work so I managed. I was a process guy at the Navy, so I was the person who was always improving on processes. We had guidelines and things like this. The ISO 9000 was what we
Mm,
used to govern our processes.
hmm.
Do you have any best practices like that that you use?
Yeah, so that's something that we're definitely working on. The ISO is like there's a lot of ISOs actually.
Yeah, there's a lot of ISOs. I know.
But
I
we're
dealt with ISO 9000, which was processes, but I imagine, is
right.
there a particular ISO for sustainability stuff? I never thought about that.
I have to actually look that up, but I believe it's ISO 20023. It's I have to
Okay.
actually do my due diligence and look into that, but I'm definitely aware of what you're talking about.
Yeah. So it would mean, I mean, when I look at chain of custody and I think about compliance documentation, environmental impact reports, I'm thinking these bump right on into regulatory things. So it seemed to me, you guys being in business for over 20 years, a company would do good when they have a challenge to make sure they're relocating or just getting rid of a bunch of assets or whatever, that
Right.
they deal with a company that's got 20 years in the space, who would bring with it the best practices kinds of things. But anyway, just curious about that.
Okay.
Anything on your anything else on your additional service you want to say that we haven't touched upon?
I don't think so. I think on the next page I have I think a screenshot showing the different type of material that we receive. Oh,
Oh,
yeah,
this
there we
okay,
go.
right
Right.
here. Okay.
Yeah, so this is just a brief, really, this is just a touch of the different type of items that we receive. So it could be anything as we see here from desktops, laptops, telecommunication equipment, various electronic components, green board, motherboards, uh, power boards, a lot of boards, hard drives, game systems. The list goes on and on because obviously there's so many items that
That's a
are
lot. Yeah.
electronic. So yeah, we basically accept it all.
Now let me ask you, I'm just thinking out loud here. Like I mentioned, when I tried to take a computer to Goodwill, they said, "Well, we don't take computers."
Hmm.
Have you reached out to these kinds of organizations that, the secondhand stores and places like this that don't carry these things, to let them know, hey, take it, let us know. We'll leave a bin here for you
Right,
from GNC. And for those folks who want to bring that stuff to you that you do not take, if you
right.
just put it in the bin for us, we'll come and pick that bin up. Have you explored that? That seems like a good opportunity.
Yeah, so we have been going through a lot of different, what's the word? It's a very big world. There's a lot of different ways of approaching these things.
Right, right.
Um, we have been exploring the potential opportunities to network with a lot of different businesses. So say
Mhm.
for example, we have relationships with storage facilities. We have relationships with schools, school districts.
Right. Absolutely.
We
Absolutely.
have quite a few different channels just based on our experience and our reputation over the years. But that
Right, no, that's right. No, it's really interesting because I know in Ventura County there's at least 10 school districts, right?
right.
which are unique unto themselves, and then
Right.
you have throughout the county a ton of various special districts. So any district, which I recently studied a little bit about, the fact that districts are government organizations in and of themselves,
Mhm.
but you go with, for instance, like Oxnard Unified School, Unified High School
Mhm.
Union,
Mhm.
Oxnard Union High School District, I think it's called.
Right.
Uh, they operate a number of schools, and it's probably the largest in the county. Don't know if you ever dealt with Oxnard Union. Have you?
Um, I don't specifically remember working with them. However, I'm just another employee here. So I think maybe before my full involvement, it might have been
Mhm.
done before my time. But I do know that we have, well, so we do because there are locations in our city that are a part of the Oxnard School District. So
Right, right.
the Oxnard School District is quite expansive.
It
Expansive.
is it's the biggest in the county. I'm thinking,
Yeah.
they must don't know how they deal with it right now, but I know they have a really good sustainability program
Right. Right.
that I worked with in the past.
Okay.
And no, this is fascinating to me. I mean, because you're also not like I joked about it. They'll take TVs at the Goodwill, but they won't take computers. But you deal with TVs, audio equipment, gaming, the whole shebang.
Right.
Right, very cool. All right. And this is your last slide, I think.
Yeah. That's just how to find us.
Yeah.
We're here Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. And yeah, this is pretty straightforward. That's us right there.
So for the folks who are in the gallery listening, if you're interested in trying to reach out to DD and GNC, you could use any one of these ways to get a hold of them. I'll leave it up for a minute. And before we go into the next phase, which we're going to be, I have in my possession a few questions I was going to put forward, and we had hoped if anybody has a question, I'm going to look real quick in the.
We have one.
We have one. Could you repeat? Could you ask read the question, Byron, please?
Yeah, Dexter Nunnery asked, is your recycling fee standard or is it per load or per item?
Oh, great question.
Yeah, so it honestly it's a if the customer is bringing material to our facility, we actually allow that. There can be some cost to some of the items that we accept, but overwhelmingly, I say that most of the material that we receive, there is no cost. However, obviously, if we're to go to a location and then we're going to do more hands-on at an actual facility, there will
Mhm.
be cost, but it's not just a flat rate because the scenarios are too vast. We'd have to actually evaluate to be able to properly give you the information and assessment.
So there's not a flat rate. It depends on what the situation is. So when you go out to evaluate stuff,
Mhm.
let's say you go to a company and they want to give you 10 computers, two servers, a couple of TVs and stuff. You go, you look at it, you said, okay, yeah, we deal with all of this.
Right.
What would they be expected to pay you to handle that?
Well, so depends on where it's located. But if it's close by, we actually do a lot of our service within the our city. We do it pretty much, we'll pick it up because it's not that far away. And that's something that we do provide most of the time. But it also depends on if there's hazardous materials in there or if there's certain things
Right.
that are I'm trying to think of all the scenarios. There's so many.
Well,
Uh,
let's pull the string on the hazardous material. Let's say the company called you 10 laptops, couple of servers, a couple other things, and you notice in your evaluation that there is a reasonable amount of hazardous waste.
mm.
What then? Do you charge a fee for the handling the hazardous waste?
No, because we don't handle that at all. So someone else we would have to direct them to the channels to be able to make sure that, well, that's the thing. We make sure to still help in the process.
Mm-hmm.
So we would take what we can and we would get the customer in contact with another team that can take that. And that's one of the things we do like about this business because it's a very collaborative type of business. So we make sure to distribute the information to the right team so that they can do the right job for the customer.
And I'm almost afraid to ask the next question because I don't know the answer, and they tell you although I'm not a lawyer or anything, they tell you don't ask the question if you don't really know the answer already. But I really don't know the answer to this, but I'm curious. After you have gone to a company, have received equipment that you need to destroy or refurbish or whatever, for the equipment that no longer is functioning that you need to somehow, after you've cleaned the data, washed it away and all of that, where does it go? What do you do with that?
Yeah, so we don't do actually any board level dismantling because obviously there's permits and requirements and things like that.
Mhm.
However, we do have relationships with other customers or other teams that do that. And
Mhm.
so we have a relationship with them where they come and they pick up that material. So it's very cyclical. It keeps
Okay.
moving like this, you know. So but yeah,
Okay.
that's what happens with the material that we can't do anything further with when it comes to after we dismantle it. So
Okay.
yeah.
Or any other questions in the chat, Byron?
Yes, I have one.
Hmm.
Dee, in our effort to educate and inform our community about clean green in general, but specifically to put it on the radar of community members, how many in the work that your company does, how many areas of sustainability or clean green technologies, energy, uh, disposal, how many of those elements does your company touch?
I'm not sure I understand your question. Can you
Um,
like elaborate on that a little more?
yeah, as okay, I'll direct it to me personally. As
Mm,
I personally learn about the field of clean power, green technologies, sustainability, I can see how your work addresses the sustainability part by taking care of waste material that shouldn't be recycled or shouldn't be uh, put back in the environment
mm,
in its present form
mm,
without some type of processing.
mm.
Um, can you talk about the importance of providing this service is to our community? Maybe that's a more clear
And
question.
let me add a little bit to that inquiry, Dee. Recently we did a show with the Ventura County Sustainability Division, and they have a comprehensive climate action plan. One of the 8 elements in their comprehensive climate action plan is managing waste. So I think Byron GNC, I'm sorry, is right in the center of how are you handling recycling. So it has a whole lot to do, if I understand your inquiry. I would say GNC is very much at the core of managing waste. Now, the waste is e-waste, right? That's
Right,
my hit, but I don't mean to put words into your mouth. But Didi, go
right,
ahead.
right.
I'm
No,
just
you're
trying
right.
to add to Byron's question. What are your
Right.
thoughts? Your thoughts?
Yeah, so the question that you're asking is like what do we do in the green space like within the community? I'm trying to make sure I understand your question so I can answer it correctly. Is that what you're asking?
No, I'm really asking you to speak about the value
Okay.
that your services provide in
Right,
our community.
right. Okay.
Because I mean,
Sorry.
the cities, they don't want you throwing TVs in the dumpster and
Right.
those kind of things. Just basic uh,
I,
service.
I think that based on our experience here, we definitely provide a very important service to the community. Most people don't know that we exist, actually. Most people don't know to think of a place like this. So a lot of times when we're talking to our so one thing we do here is individuals come to bring their material. They don't just drop it off. A lot of times we have conversations with people that we meet, you know. And many times they say, "Oh, we didn't know that you guys even existed,
Right.
but we're glad that you're here." So I think that just based on that information alone, it lets us know that we're doing the right thing. Um, and we've been doing this for quite a while, so like over 20 years. So we've met a lot of people, but there's still so many people who don't know that we exist. So I think I believe I'm answering your question when I say that we play a very important role in the green system.
And I think as in learning about the recent comprehensive report, which by the way, they're attempting to get more money to implement their plan. And my hit is I can connect you with the Ventura County Sustainability Division because one of their 8 goals is the comprehensive dealing with waste and waste management. Now, put trash and rubbish and all of that aside, but you're focused on e-waste. I think is a sweet spot because I've not heard of anybody else who's actually doing that. I know there are a number of companies that do upcycling, recycling of various kinds of materials, but nothing to do with e-waste.
Right.
So, but anyway, no, that's very good. So I had a few other questions that I
Hey,
had put in
Daryl,
can. Yeah, yes.
Daryl, I don't want to kidnap your
All right.
hosting,
Go
but
ahead.
I noticed that we're fortunate enough to have the founder of GNC Technologies has joined us. And I
Okay.
just wondered, while Dee Dee's doing an excellent job, I'm just wondering if the Godfather may want to add a few comments. Godwin, are you available to unmute and share some of that wisdom with us?
I don't think he knows how to push
You,
the.
you
Oh,
got to
there he is.
unmute.
You have to unmute.
Yeah,
I don't
unmute.
know. I don't think he knows how.
Okay. Wait.
Oh, let me see.
Yeah, no. I believe maybe MJ might be able to unmute him. I
Oh,
think.
okay.
I I can ask him to unmute, but he has to do it himself.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't know if he knows how to do it.
Okay. All right.
He's talking.
Godwin, there's a microphone that you can click on that will unmute you.
Bottom of the screen. He might be on his phone.
Yeah, at the
He's in the
bottom.
car.
While we're waiting for him, we do have another question.
Okay.
And Godwin, try to, maybe Marie can help you, but try to unmute. And we have a question actually from one of our directors
Mm-hmm.
who steers a major corporation. Zach Parker makes a comment that many large SEC companies now have required sustainability goals and annual reporting. Their CIOs should be very interested in a channel like this. Should we be able to provide like this? Should we be able to provide related metrics?
Good point. Yeah, no, so to pull this thread a little bit more, Didi, with Zach's comment, he's pointing out that companies now have requirements for reporting and don't know how much of your results that you've kept track of and things like that. But do you guys keep any statistics, metrics of any type with some of the services you provided?
I would say initially, because we were navigating the landscape, we did not know much about that, but we have been, as of late, we have been keeping a lot of records and specific details about how much material we're
Mhm.
sending through the system. So yeah, to answer your question, currently, yes, we do that as well. For sure.
Good, very good. Yeah. No, it's I think it's a good point. I mean, as I think about it, I think of all the opportunities between your logistic services, your Ben services and whatnot. It seems it's like a well-kept secret that's really getting ready to blow up, you know? So that's good. No, I mean, Zach's point is a very really solid point. So I'll let such as he went on to say such as Teledyne, who's here,
Mhm.
the other
Aero environment.
aerial environments, right, right. It's
Mhm.
another company. I think they're in. I want to say they're in Simi Valley, but I'm not sure. Yeah,
Yeah,
right.
Oh, okay.
yeah.
Big company. Yeah.
Okay.
So I had a few other questions. Let me ask you. I had prepared just a handful of questions and see. We may have already covered some of these things.
Okay.
And then Godwin's off. Yeah, his mic is alive now, but
Oh.
now he's not there.
Yeah.
You there, Godwin?
Hello,
Yeah,
how
he's there.
Hi. Hey. Yes, we've been engaged. I was happy to see you here. What what pearls of wisdom can you drop on us?
what do you want? You want some wisdom from me?
Hey,
Yes.
hey, whatever thoughts you have, my friend.
No, first of all, I'm proud of Didi. Um, what can I say? I'm really proud of him as a father.
Yes, that's
And
great. That's great. No, he's doing a great job, and I've enjoyed working with him the last 2 weeks to get this done. And I saw because of how word of mouth is, and the growth of your business has just been by your reputation and people who've dealt with you. Dee explained to me, you guys don't really do a lot of marketing, which is why I say this is one of the best kept secrets around. So, you'll be able to use this webinar. We'll give you guys this, and you can put this on your website and do whatever you would like with it. So, when you guys started, Godwin, let me ask you, and I had actually this question for Dee, but both of you can respond to it, okay? Why don't Didi, you go first, and then let's hear what Godwin has to say about it. In the
Sure.
next 5 years, one of the things I'm always curious about, and everybody's not always on top of strategic planning and all that, but the people think about it. And when you think about the next 5 years, what would you like to see GNC engage in the next 5 years? Where are your growth areas? What are you looking at to do?
Mm. Well, I think in the next 5 years, I could see GNC expanding maybe deeper throughout California, maybe outside of California. Uh, I see I see a demand in affordable, reliable, refurbished equipment. I think we're also interested in developing more robust data destruction capabilities for larger clients. I don't think growth is just about geographic expansion, but more like deeper community impact. Um, I think that bringing proper e-waste management to a neighborhood level will be something that's interesting.
Mhm.
I think the average person should be included in the conversation and have access to resources to support their ability to properly dispose of their retired electronics and consumables. So within that, I believe that partnering with schools and nonprofits to provide maybe technology while creating circular economy models, um, I think that would add more value to local communities.
Absolutely. I think that's the focus of the county is working at the neighborhood level. Godwin, your thoughts on where GNC is headed in the future? It seems you guys have a solid foundation. Do you have anything to add to that, Godwin?
yeah, I have a lot of ideas, but the industry is very dynamic because it changes pretty much every year,
Mm-hmm.
and we are pretty involved uh, to make sure that we're up to date with the ups and downs of the industry. However, um, because you're asking like yeah, the strategic plan now, short time and long time. Is that what it is?
Yep. The boat, you have to have both oars in the water, right? Pretty
Right.
much. Right,
Yeah,
right.
our goal really, we are working on it to have a bigger facility so we can have all our certification and all the ISOs and
Right.
R2s, everything in order.
Yeah, we talked about that earlier. He
Yeah.
mentioned he was researching and delving into the ISO. We got a couple minutes left. I want to let Byron close us out, but before I do that, Didi, any last thoughts? It went by fast. I'm sorry, but it was good. It was good. So your last thoughts, and I'm going to turn it over to Byron to sign off for us.
Um, I'd say, well, first of all, thank you guys for having us. We kind of keep our head down and just stick to the task. But I'm glad you guys even brought awareness to this because I completely had no idea that there was so many other individuals in the community that were involved in this space. We like, I know I said it up on the phone the other day, like no man is an island. But we just kind of have blinders on and we just work. We have so much in front of us, so sometimes we don't look around.
Right. You're working.
But
You're working all the time, and that's good.
yeah,
Sometimes you just
yeah,
look up and you
definitely.
go, "Oh,
I have the
there's
straps
other
on right
people."
now. So but I mean, I think that if anything, we are in a space where I think that as Ventura County continues to grow, e-waste should be treated as like critical infrastructure because just like water power and waste management, because there's so much that is
Could go, yeah.
yeah, there's so much, and we can either be proactive and establish robust local systems, or we could be reactive and deal with the capacity problems as they arise within the county and within the area. So, I mean, I know we're running out of time, so I think that's what I could say for
No,
now.
that's great. No, just echoing what your father said. It's very dynamic. Byron, to you to close us out, my friend, Mr. President. You on mute? You on mute, Byron? You on mute? Yep. There you go.
I just want to thank you, Daryl, for doing an excellent job on this series.
Goodbye,
And
guys.
certainly to Dee Dee and Godwin and MJ as well, our great producer.
Yeah.
This has been a revelation to myself and our organization to have received the support from the Clean Power Alliance and the Port of Hueneme to put together what I think has been a very fascinating series for our community. You can navigate to CCMERA.org, and this webinar, as well as previous webinars, will be available there. I get the pleasure now to talk about a couple of quick announcements, and then we'll let you go. CCMERA has selected the dates for what we are calling our Economic Empowerment Weekend, and that's going to be February 6th and 7th at the Ventura Beach Marriott. On February 6th, Friday, we will have our Economic Development Summit, and clean power will be one of the topics, as well as our annual Business and Leadership Awards Gala will be convened on February 7th. So put those dates on your calendar, and we will be applying for a new Clean Green grant. And we have an idea to put together a Clean Green cohort for calendar year 2026. So stay tuned for our email announcements and visit our website often to stay up to date on what CCMERA has going on in our community. Thanks to everyone for joining us this evening.
Thank you. Bye-bye. Thank you.